Welcome to Break the Needle. I'm your host, Adam Zivo, and I'm here to tackle Canada's problems with drugs, addiction, and crime. Today, we'll be discussing the homeless industrial complex. This term refers to the networks of government agencies, nonprofits, and contractors that rely on public funding to manage homelessness and its associated social ills. Critics argue that these networks suck up billions of dollars without delivering results, partially because there are perverse financial incentives that push them to perpetuate rather than mitigate human misery. Other voices argue, though, that the degree of waste in this sector is exaggerated. Joining us here today to discuss this issue is Tom Wolfe, an influential drug policy advocate from San Francisco. Tom personally experienced severe drug addiction and homelessness in the 2010s, and so when he speaks about ineffective social services, his insights are informed by real world experience. While San Francisco is, of course, in the United States, he sees troubling parallels between what is happening there and what is happening in Canada. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you, Adam. It's great to be back here.
Now, Tom, can you tell us more about the concept of the homeless industrial complex? Most of the policy analysis and media coverage I've seen on this issue was produced in the 2020s, so it seems like this is a relatively new idea.
Right. So, as the homeless crisis worsened across the United States and Canada, you started to see people kind of start chirping on social media about this concept called the homeless industrial complex, which was the idea that there's just a perpetual funding stream from the government to NGOs or nonprofit organizations that have been contracted by cities and counties and states to provide services to the homeless. And as time went on and the homeless problem got worse, these voices got louder because we found that there are billions of dollars going out every single year. For example, in California, we spent $30 billion over a 5 year period on homelessness, and then the homeless problem increased. The homeless population increased 31% during that time. And so this term, homeless industrial complex, kind of came to fruition. And at first, it was considered a right-wing trope, right? People using that to kind of victimize or criminalize homelessness, etc. But then data started coming out. Audits started happening of nonprofit organizations. Scandals started breaking out and making mainstream media news in San Francisco and Los Angeles about various nonprofits that had received several $1 million from that city municipality, unable to account for that money, right? Or pocketing some of that money, or giving that money in grants to friends that had other nonprofit organizations, all the while the homeless continue to suffer. And then a big story broke in Los Angeles with the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority last year, where
I,
their CEO actually had to step down and resign because an external audit was done of LASA, and they found $2 billion were unaccounted for that had been given out to various nonprofits. So not only is there no accountability measures in place, they couldn't actually tell you where that money went, and $2 billion is really just the tip of the iceberg. So when that happened, it really validated the term homeless industrial complex and brought it into the mainstream. So it's no longer just like a conservative thing to say, but it's actually what's happening with far too many nonprofits across the country.
and I just want to emphasize here that this is a problem that is not limited to the United States. It's been said, for example, that in Vancouver, approximately $1 million is spent every single day on programs in the downtown east side, and yet the human misery there and the homelessness there only seems to get worse and worse over time, which raises questions about what are these organizations actually doing. Well,
Yeah,
so
that's correct. So it's
is there an underlying problem here where there's a lack of accountability for these nonprofits?
Yeah, it's all fueled by a lack of accountability. Uh, you know, Nonprofits have to do their own internal audits, and then they turn the results of those audits over to the government for review instead of having the government come in with an independent third party to do an audit. Um, there's also an ideological problem here. Many of these nonprofits that receive funding have a certain ideology that they follow. It's usually rooted in social justice and harm reduction, and there's very little deviation from that. So, and they've done a good job of shutting out other organizations from applying for those grants. In California specifically, there's billions of dollars under a
Wait, wait,
proposition
wait,
we
Tom,
passed
Tom.
here a couple of years ago.
I'm gonna have to. just interrupt you. So we're going to get back into this after the break in just a few minutes.